Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to be covering why I failed this 1v3 scenario. This is the second learning from my mistakes video. This scenario started off as a 2v3, and that was the first mistake I made. Right at the beginning, I made a mistake and my teammate ended up dying because of it. And then the second mistake I made was right at the end when it was a 1v3 scenario. We'll cover both of these mistakes right after this clip. Okay, we'll heal quick. Love this fast heal. Oh, come on, buddy.
I got it.
One down. Come on. Oh, shoot. Good game. And we lost. 1,200 damage. That was a good one. Darn it. So the first spot where I could have done better is right at the beginning where my teammate and I were on the high ground. And then things were going pretty well, but at one point my teammate started taking damage. At that point I could have told him, and communication is key here, especially since my teammate had a mic. I could have told him to come to me, or if he didn't agree with that, I could have pushed over to him. One of those two options could have happened, and then at least we would have been next to each other. And that way, he probably would not have fallen if we were together. But who knows? I mean, maybe things would have worked out completely differently, but I think we would have had a much better chance if I moved towards him or he moved towards me. So the second spot where I could have done better is right at the end when it's a 1v3 after my teammate got downed. So a Pathfinder starts pushing me, and when that Pathfinder starts pushing me, I aim down my sights with my R99 and I melt this guy right away. So Pathfinder is gone. But then a Bangalore on the other team throws her ultimate, and then I'm trying to avoid these rockets, that is. So what I do is I go to the rock, big rock that's like right behind me towards the left, and I run behind that. Ultimate doesn't hit me, and then I bump into a Bangalore on the other side of this rock right away. And I start facing this Bangalore, just me and her. The third teammate hasn't come yet, and I actually start doing a lot of damage to this Bangalore. She jumps up in the air, and then I wait a sec and I finish her off. She's down. Now there's two enemies down, and they're both in the same vicinity on this left side of the rock, like right next to where I am. And then the third enemy is a Wraith who comes around the right side of the rock, and I turn around and I start shooting at this Wraith, but she also hits me a lot, and I lose almost all of my health at this point. Now, as I hit her, she pushes back behind the rock because I'm pretty sure that player is like, uh-oh, I'm taking damage, I need to take cover. So I take this opportunity to start healing, regenerate my shields, and once I start doing this, I start going left around the rock, and which was actually the right way to go. But then I hear crawling by the downed teammates, and because I heard this crawling, I thought it was actually the Wraith running around the rock that way. So then I start going right around the rock, and when I start going right, that's actually the path that the Wraith took, and I wasn't even looking at her at this point because I thought she'd be coming around the left, and she just melts me, aims down her sights, takes me out right away. So if I would have gone left, I would have been able to regenerate my shields, and I don't think that Wraith even took a chance to heal. She just literally popped behind the rock for a second and then popped back out. So what I should have done is gone. I probably should have just kind of like stayed right where I was, because the fact is that those downed enemies, they were probably telling their teammate exactly where I was moving at every single second if they had mics on or whatnot, or were typing, whatever the case. They're probably communicating, telling the Wraith where I was because they had vision of me. So what I should have done is probably just camped in one spot. I would have had enough time because there was just enough distance between us before she could like run over to me that I probably could have got my shields popped off. And right in that moment, I probably could have blind fired or hip fired, that is. I probably could have hip fired with my R99 and took her down if I, jumped up and down a little bit, did some movement tricks, right? And that's what I think would have happened if I would have stayed in one spot, or I would have been paying closer attention to the audio and noticed that that crawling sound I heard was actually crawling and not walking of the Wraith enemy. So basically it came down to the audio that made me fail. I was paying too close of attention to the visuals, that this audio going on in the background, I just wasn't really thinking about it too much, and I made my choice of movement based on the audio that I wasn't really thinking about. But if I would have been paying closer attention and thought about what I was hearing, I would have known that I should have moved around the left, or I should have just stuck in one spot. I would have done one of those two things if I was paying closer attention to the audio, but I was not. So in the future, I'm going to try pay more attention to what I'm hearing as well. And of course, you have to consider you're in one of these high stress situations at the end of a match and you're like, I'm about to win. I can do this. And you're not really thinking about everything as clearly. But I mean, yes, listening to the audio definitely could have helped me more in this scenario. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Apex Legends walkthrough videos like this. Leave a like if you enjoyed or learned something. I hope you enjoyed what you watched, and I'll see you all in the next one.